later, pandemic engulfed the earth. The three friends decided to show what they're worth. The world is spreading sickness, so they tried to spread mirth. And that's how we'll get through. It's Duck and COVID. Yeah, it's Duck and COVID. We can't just be like turtles, we're humans too. You and you. Duck.
Hello, South Africa, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 66 of Duck and COVID. You know, every time when I say these episode numbers, I actually can't believe how many we've done. Because lockdown has been going on forever! We've literally spent about a third of a year now at home. I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. James, how do you feel about that? Duncan, how do you feel about that? Yeah, same, friend. Hashtag same.
Hang on. Now, mathematically speaking, because you know I'm a big maths guy.
More.
What's 3 would be Friday plus another like 2 would be Sunday. Would actually be exactly a third of a year in lockdown. Give or take, like Sunday at lunchtime would be a third of a year.
Sunday at lunchtime, you've gone that far.
Well, because there's like 365 days in a year. You know, 365 is difficult to divide by 3 because it's not divisible by 3. So, like at some point during the day, you know. So, but it's because I think, if I'm not mistaken, one day 117.
No, wait, it's a leap year, so it's 366.
Oh,
divided by 3, that's 122.
Okay, yeah. So we're 117. So in 5 days from now. So that's Sunday.
A third of a year.
It'll be exactly a third of a year in lockdown.
Sweet.
Boy. Damn on the stream. Damn on the stream.
That's why I'm starting to see unicorns, and that's why I'm starting to gently tap my head against the wall every morning when I wake up.
Just a little bit
now.
Yeah, but the nice thing is, you know, like, just to let us get through this, at least you can, you know, have a nice glass of wine. Oh, hang on, we can't. At least you take the edge off. Like, at least I can go and visit my family oh wait, hang on.
At least you can go to the casino. Hey.
Yeah, correct. And you can go and gamble out that last bit of money you have.
Tell you what, we can go burn down some churches too.
Yeah.
I mean,
what?
Let's not do that. Hey, topical, shall we?
Anyway, let's go over to Doug for the news.
And now, the news with Doug.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's news on Duck and COVID. We will start, as always, with the latest statistics coming out of the world. Up to midnight last night, we saw an increase of just over 205,000 cases reported, bringing us up to just under 15 million total cases for the COVID pandemic thus far. Roughly 5.3 million cases are currently active, with 8.7 million people having recovered from the virus. Fortunately, 615,071 officially reported deaths have resulted as a result of the virus. However, the number of recoveries versus the number of deaths has decreased the mortality rate from 7% to 6%. The official mortality rate for the COVID-19 pandemic is down to 6%, which is a vast improvement from where we were a third of a year ago. Moving on to South Africa. We saw an increase of 9,300 cases yesterday, bringing us up to just over 373,000 total cases in South Africa. Of that, over 173,000 are active cases, with just under 195 people having recovered from the virus. Unfortunately, the official death toll in South Africa stands at 5,173, but our mortality rate nationally is 2.59%, so less than half that of the global mortality rate, which is something we can be proud of. Moving on to corona vaccine candidates. have proven safe for humans and produced strong immune reactions among patients involved in separate clinical trials, doctors said on Monday. The first trial among more than 1,000 adults in Britain found that the vaccine induced strong antibody and T-cell immune responses against the novel coronavirus, while a separate trial in China involving more than 500 people showed most had developed widespread antibody immune response. The studies published in the Lancet Medical Journal constitute a major step on the road towards a COVID-19 vaccine, and that is effective and safe for widespread use. The authors of the study said that they encountered a few adverse side effects from the vaccine candidates. However, they cautioned that more research was needed, particularly among older adults who are disproportionately at risk of dying of COVID-19. Hopefully, they can force through the vaccines as quickly as possible, and we can all get vaccinated and be allowed to go back to work and go out to restaurants and see our families. The number of people in hospital with COVID-19 in Gauteng has decreased by more than 50% since last week, the health department said on Tuesday. Spokesperson Kwara Kakana said 2,487 people were being treated at public and private facilities across the province. This is down from 3,089 admissions since last Wednesday, when the department said 5,576 people were being treated for COVID-19. This comes as the number of cumulative cases and fatalities continue to rise. The province has now recorded 136,879 official cases, and 999 deaths have been reported in Gauteng. The number of those who have beaten the coronavirus has also increased significantly since then. Kakana said that over 66,000 people had recovered thus far, and which is up by just over 26,000 from 40,000 a week ago. Johannesburg remains the district with the most infections, with over 59,000 cases. They have also seen 374 officially recorded deaths and over 33,000 recoveries. It is followed by Ekurhuleni with over 30,000 infections, 240 deaths, and just under 19,000 recoveries. And then thirdly, Tshwane, which has recorded over 25,000 infections with 192 deaths and just under 10,500 recoveries. Moving on. Investigations into the awarding of 2 tenders to supply blankets for the homeless and personal protective equipment have uncovered irregularities by the KwaZulu-Natal government of nearly 30 million rand, and it has emerged that more than 43,018 blankets procured by the Provincial Department of Social Development as part of the COVID-19 relief sit in storage and have not been delivered to those in need. This was revealed by KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala on Tuesday during a report on the findings of 3 investigations into the procurement of PPE and equipment and blankets by the department. Zikalala said 2 investigations into tenders awarded by the department were launched in April after several allegations emerged of irregular procurement of blankets worth 22 million rand and PPE equipment worth 19 million rand. The investigation revealed that the department had sourced blankets from 4 service providers for between 350 and 599 rand each, and that there was no record provided to prove that the decision to procure the blankets was informed by a needs analysis. The damning investigation also found that the department made irregular payments for PPE equipment to the tune of 13.6 million rand, and that proper procurement procedures were not followed. The report revealed that in some instances, quotations were changed 3 times, with quantities being reduced each time, but not the pricing per unit, said Zikalala. The investigation recommended that disciplinary action be taken against the Chief Financial Officer, the Acting Director, and the Director General, as well as others in the department. When asked about possible criminal action, Zikalala said once they have finalized the investigation, they would be working with law enforcement. Zikalala added that there was nothing in the investigation that indicated any wrongdoing on the part of the Social Development MEC, Nonhlanhlana Khoza. The investigation also looked into the procurement of PPE equipment in the Department of Education and found no irregularities in the process. This whole situation, I dare say, does lead one to question whether Ubuntu really exists in this country, where the people who are supposed to be governing us and protecting us are stealing from us while we're dying of a virus. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the South African restaurant industry has taken a severe blow, most recently the reinstatement of the alcohol ban and curfew. Now restaurants are taking a stand. The hashtag Jobs Saves Lives movement, organized by the Restaurant Association of South Africa, have organized a hashtag Jobs Save Lives protest for Wednesday, the 22nd of July, 2020. That is tomorrow. Restaurants will stand together in contest to contest the current lockdown regulations by placing more than 1 million seats on the streets nationwide. The empty seats are symbolic to the cause. Vacant seats means jobs will be lost, thereby putting the lives dependent on those jobs in jeopardy. The second peaceful protest is set to take place on Friday, the 24th of July, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., organized by Brent and Ashley Paramore. The Serve Us Please protest calls on those affected to stand together against restrictive lockdown regulations. South Africa will see the construction of a human chain of sorts. Protesters, while adhering to COVID-19 safety protocols, will create 2 ribbon-linked lines running along main streets all over the country. The different starting points are in Cape Town, the corner of Roland and Batenkant streets, in Franschhoek at the Town Hall 27 Huguenot Road, in Johannesburg on the corner of Rivonia and Maud Street, in Pretoria on the corner of Stanza Bopape and Wessel Street, in Durban on the corner of Dr. Pixley Kasema and Church Streets, and in Port Elizabeth, Kings Beach parking lot on Kings Road. Let's hope that they do indeed follow the COVID-19 safety protocols and that this is a safe, peaceful, and successful protest. That's all the time we have for the news this evening. I'd like to return to the studio. Thanks very much, guys.
That was the news with Doug.
Hey, Doug, and welcome to the studio, and good evening to the whole team.
Good evening. I wanted to point out something that one of our audience has mentioned in response to James's burning down churches comment. It's the clinics that are the thing to be burnt down, apparently. Or at least that's what the
you're
chief
absolutely
told us
right.
yesterday.
I got that. Yeah, I got that completely wrong. It wasn't churches, but it was indeed clinics. And I mean, just burning down anything in this point of time is not necessary at all. Or stealing people's bloody blankets. It's just
honestly, when I heard that story, I was just like, really, just at this moment, I'm ready to push the reset button on the country. Like, where is the reset button? Is it somewhere on Table Mountain?
It's probably at the bottom of the Kimberley Hole.
The thing that gets me is that they've purchased 43,000 blankets, which they have now sitting in a warehouse somewhere, which is not being used. And the fact that it was 600 Rand, between 400 and 600 Rand a blanket. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, you can go
they
down
made of mink?
What blankets are those?
Man.
You can go down to Pick and Pay and you can get blankets for under $100, which are pretty damn good.
I mean, police blankets are even cheaper. Like, honestly. But I mean, not to get too stuck up in that. I want to give a little caveat.
Fair, though, sorry to interrupt. I just want to be fair, though. If they had gone with things like the police blankets or the cheap Pick and Pay blankets, we should be fair and say then instead of there being 43,000 blankets in storage, there would be instead 200,000 blankets in storage, and it would make a difference anyway, would it?
Now, I need to put a note for our regular viewers. You might notice that Matt isn't on tonight, and he's unfortunately taken leave for some personal business, something to do with a ring and some volcano. I don't know, but I'm sure he's going to be perfectly fine, and we'll see him back soon.
He was just jabbering on about icons and idols, and just like finding himself in a forest with his pet orangutan, mysterious island kind of stuff. We don't really know.
We don't know. We don't ask too many questions. He is in that way. He also has like wily eyes, so don't question him. He's like
he does. To see when he's angry.
It's funny. But now on the restaurant protest, now we've like heard about the story, but we've also been seeing images and news that the protest hasn't been approved for tomorrow. So I don't know. What are your bets, guys? Do you think people are going to go ahead? Do you think they're going to be scared of the police?
Yeah, well, as I said, I think that this is likely to go on because they're not calling for people to mobilize tomorrow. What they're doing is they're calling for restaurants just to put chairs on the sides of the roads, which, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to come and they're going to arrest you for putting a chair on the side of the road. You know, I mean, it's not a mass
see them
gathering.
shooting the chairs with rubber bullets.
Yeah, exactly. It is not a mass gathering.
I thought that the point of the protest was actually put the chairs in the road. I thought that was
no, on the sides of the road, not in the street.
They're not blocking the roads off?
Okay. Not blocking the roads off. So it's going to be, so as you're driving past, you're going to see just hundreds of empty chairs.
Empty chairs.
It's at this point where I'd like to just interject by with some wisdom from an urban poet, a group of urban poets that were known as NWA, and they quoted saying, "Fuck the police," coming straight from the underground. I think that this, I mean, I see it was, let me just get the name here for you in the email. It was Brigadier Sonjani Sandile, who wrote an email from the Stellenbosch SAPS about this protest or whatever, saying it's illegal, it's a gathering, whatever the case is. Fuck off. You people have taken food off of people's plates, and now you want to try and put them in prisons. You know what? The more this goes on, every single day that this lockdown goes on, they're making innocent civilians criminals. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, I mean, what? So do we have the jail capacity to arrest every single person? Like, get out of town. The problem is, sorry, I can't. I'm not allowed to. Let's say I bought a bottle of wine a month ago, and I really want to go from my house that I own to another house that I own. Let's say I own 2 houses because I'm a rich bastard, and I want to go and drink my bottle of red wine, but in my other house. You're going to make a criminal out of me because I can't transfer. Please, these people in government are so lost about everything. Anything they want against any sort of opposition, they're trying to seem more intelligent than they are. Don't stop. You know what the thing is? They need a visual aid to show them this is how many people are suffering every day, not getting food in their plates. As far as I'm concerned, fuck them. If one person gets arrested, do something more to get another person. Start a chain reaction. Get the whole country arrested. Get everyone arrested. They can't keep us all.
Oh, they will. You see, what they'll do is they'll arrest all the COVID-19 protesters, and because they'll then have an overabundance of people in prisons, they'll just release all the rapists and murderers onto the street in order to lower the crowding capacity.
Which they've already done, technically. I mean, the government's already released thousands of prisoners as it is in the beginning of this whole mess. So,
this is craziness.
If you want to make rules,
there was a
if you want to make rules and if you want to make standpoints about things, they have to make, we've said this before, logical sense. How can you possibly say, Doug in the news wrote, and the people that have said this protest must go on have written, it's not a gathering. It's a protest of like showing something. Not everyone is going to run down the streets like they did in Michigan or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that. It's not, but you know what the thing is? Oh no, this is illegal. But you know what? When people in the trucking industry feel like they're not being paid enough, that's fine to riot, to break stuff. Yeah. That's fine. But you know what?
When the taxis want 20,000 rand each for each taxi. Of course, onto the streets.
That's the problem. Is at what point is everyone governed in the same way? At what point? It's stupid. And you know what the thing is? If you own a restaurant, I was listening to the radio. For the most part, you haven't been able to work in 3 months. And one of the people made a very good point. They should never have closed restaurants at the beginning of this thing anyway. I believe that now. From March, April, the big impact is now. The restaurant industry could have worked in the beginning. The lockdown didn't work. Nothing bloody worked because it didn't. This whole thing is a shame. Restaurants, I mean, the amount of people, it doesn't matter from owner to the person that cleans the plates is hungry. The restaurant industry is humongous. Honestly, sorry. It rustles my jimmies. It rustles my jimmies, and I apologize.
No, I can see that. I feel
like at 7:20 every night when I'm on the show, I just get to shit myself because I've had a bad day.
I mean, like, to be fair, like I'll disagree with you on the lockdown. I mean, I think it delayed the spread. Because you could definitely see when the lockdown relaxed that the curve went up exponentially. But I still hear you. Like the
curve was going up anyway, really. The curve was going up before this.
It was going to happen, but it slowed it. It delayed the inevitable, but it delayed it.
but you're also taking out the main factor on the x-axis here of the temperature that it is. Flu season. South Africa has like a 50, 80, 50, between 50 and 80. I need to actually read the statistic. Less flu deaths this year. The thing is, it was always bound to happen because it's winter. You know, when it's the beginning of March, it's still quite warm. The problem is now, it's bloody cold, and this is when people get sick. I'm not a scientist. I don't believe in pseudo. I just think that what the government has done to the restaurant industry, the restaurant industry can maybe get up and have a little peaceful protest. They're not going out there to say, you know what, let's burn everything down. No, nobody.
They're not spitting in each other's mouths either. Like,
they're not going to. At no point did they say in any letters, any writing saying, you know what, we're going to protest. Burn down the fucking parliament buildings. Burn it to the ground. Nobody said that. No. Nobody. They just said we're putting all of our chairs outside because we're losing income. We're doing that. That is it.
Yeah. It's a symbolic protest.
That's illegal. And that's the first thing they shut down.
But I mean,
the problem is the government's just not listening. All right, we're going for a segue.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay,
let's do that thing. Enough. Let's go over to some light-hearted facts. At least I hope they are. We'll see. Let's do extra less.
Hi, it's me, Duncan, and welcome to Chappy Rapper Tuesday. After having shut myself for the past 5 minutes, I've now all of a sudden got to dance like a monkey for you and be happy.
Do it, monkey. This is our show format.
But you know what they say is like segues, Grant. You need to work on segues. You literally just had me about to commit harikiri about 5 minutes ago. 30 seconds ago.
How do you segue from that? How do you segue from that?
Calm the situation down, maybe tell a joke, and then don't bring me in like this. I got these facts, I'll tell you something, they're live. This is like? This is like being on a bloody highway, traveling down a highway in 6th gear and ramming the car into reverse.
You know what I'm also going to tell you, right? Like, the highway has sent you a run of order a good 4 hours before the show.
I know that. Listen,
to tell you what's going to happen after 5 minutes after the news. So you must know not to get into a rant of like 10 minutes.
I didn't know that my cheeks were going to be rustled. I didn't know that.
we can go for Chappy Rapper Tuesday on like a upper next level. I can bang this out. Shall we?
Yeah. Just give me a second. I'm gonna just exit stage whatever this direction is, and I'll be back. Hang on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And the energy is changing.
Hey!
There he is.
Hi, my name's Duncan, and welcome to Chappy Rapper Tuesday.
It's beautiful.
All right.
It's beautiful.
Getting into your first fact of the evening. We're gonna have to make it big so that people can see. Bring us all in.
There we go.
Right.
There we go.
Your first facts of the day on this wonderful Tuesday. The man, the myth, the legend, Chris Pratt. Did you know that he stole his costume off of the set of Guardians of the Galaxy? The reason he did this was because he was able to go and visit sick children in hospitals who wanted to meet Star-Lord. I think that is a bloody good one.
I think it's pretty sweet.
Chris Pratt is
people going out and doing like altruistic things. Now, this is an example of a good human being. This is what you should do. Like, if you're going to steal, do it for good reasons. Don't just take all the money and leave blankets in a warehouse.
There's another thing. Apparently, Ben Affleck stole some of his stuff from the Batman set because he wants to sort of do the same thing. And apparently the production company ended up like charging him 10,000 Rand per bat or $10,000 per batarang that he took, tax reasons or whatever. but on the topic,
never mind the millions that he's earning the franchise from the movie being played.
But you can sell that. You can actually sell that stuff later for like probably even double the amount. So imagine selling a batarang like 20 years after the movie. Like people would die for like that.
The movie could tank. And he couldn't pay people to take them. It's a risk.
quick tidbit on this. So a lot of celebrities obviously do a lot of good work for charities and for, Reach for a Dream, for example, all that kind of stuff. Like, like to get their dreams fulfilled. Do you know who has done the most Reach for a Dream or Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes? Which celebrity?
James. Hugh Jackman.
James. Incorrect.
Damn it.
The Rock.
You're much closer, Doug. Doug, you are much closer.
What did you say,
It's
Doug?
not The Rock.
Okay,
I have no idea.
It's his name is Hulk Hogan.
It's not Hulk Hogan, but you're in the same boundary. The guy that has done the most Make-A-Wish Foundation things is actually John Cena. Apparently, it is like one of his biggest things that he does. John Cena has done the most.
But how do you see him? I don't understand.
Has he actually done them, or does he get a guy to go to
saying that he's there,
the Make-A-Wish kids, right, and play a tape saying, "I'm here, but you can't see me," and then they he went there, but they couldn't see him, and that's how it worked out.
Only John hasn't seen a thing.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation has saved millions. They've saved millions upon millions because they don't get anyone. They just play pa pa da pa. Okay, anyway, next fact. Moving along.
Before we move on, I did want to say, one of the things about this, with him going to visit people in a hospital in his Star-Lord outfit, this concept of the superhero, it's a massive thing. And I wanted to just add that Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, this past week sent part of his Captain America kit to a kid named Bridger Walker, who jumped in front of he's 6 years old, and he ran in front of a dog who was attacking his sister and got bit in the face. And Captain America has praised this kid as a hero, and I think that at that age, when you are that young to meet the superheroes, I think that it must have a lasting effect on these kids' lives, and I think it's fantastic.
It is amazing.
Definitely.
To the next point, Tonto.
No, to the wall.
All right, so there's a place in Manitoba in Canada called Churchill. So basically, they say that it's customary there to leave car doors unlocked to provide other residents with quick escapes, so if they ever come face to face with polar bears. So this is town where it's highly likely that polar bears might just be walking down the street. So people, out of the goodness of their heart, leave their cars open so that they have a place where they can run away and be safe from bloody polar bears. This is a very unique problem, I'm assuming, to the town, because I don't assume anything like this happens basically anywhere else in the world.
I do know that this is also the only town that has a polar bear prison, where if they catch a polar bear in the town, they prison them in a building which has 29 cells in it, and they feed them on water and ice as punishment for a week before releasing them back in the wild in order to discourage them.
Like the polar bear's going to learn something?
So you're making them hungry.
Yeah, correct. Grant you see, so what you're doing is you're starving a polar bear, releasing it back into the wild so it can find some tasty morsels of man flesh. Hang on a second.
Well, let's be fair, that's why you have cars.
No, what should happen is they should be sitting this polar bear down there, just feeding it a lot of bloody garage pies. So when it gets out of there, it's so full that it wants to bugger off somewhere else.
No, they don't want to encourage them to come near the town. They want to associate being near the town with hunger.
So it's sort of like a whole Pavlov's dog thing, or classic conditioning.
Yeah, exactly. Pavlovian reaction, exactly.
Kim Catterick says she wouldn't mind. Kim Catterick says she wouldn't mind someone leaving their Range Rover unlocked for my quick escape.
If you're going to live in luxury,
what a South African comment.
but there are going to be some snooty ass people out there that are going to be like, Toyota Corolla, I'm not going to take prisoner. I'm going to go for a damn fucking 2.5 million rand car for my own comfort purposes. Yeah, nah, man.
Let's be fair. If you're going to have to hide in a car for a couple of hours to, stay away from a polar bear, you do kind of want it to be a comfortable car, I mean, I'm just saying.
You want it to be a tank, really, at the end of the day.
I saw a GIF today on Facebook of like a brown bear breaking a door in a house that he just wanted to get in. So, like,
Yeah,
I don't know how good a car window is going to do against a bear that wants to get to you, but
so I've got some
better than nothing.
Just before we end this and go to the next slide, I've got some bear etiquette for you. I know South Africa, we're teeming with bears around here, but if you are ever encountering, except you, Grant. Okay, the thing I was trying to get at though. Okay, so if you ever are within the presence of a bear, here's how you can survive. If it's black, attack. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, good night. So that means if it's a brown bear and you lie down, it'll leave you alone. A black bear, you must run at it and try and attack it, and it'll back away from you. White good night means that if you see a polar bear, it's probably been tracking you for a lot longer, and you're probably fucking going to die. So just be aware of that. Yeah, that's basically it.
That's interesting. There's that video of that black bear that had approached those two girls and started giving them, like, started basically investigating them and sniffing them around. They just stood absolutely still. And I thought that's maybe not the wisest thing to do around a bear.
Yeah. See, when you're standing absolutely still, that's for snakes.
Yeah. But I mean, how you confuse a snake and a bear, though? I mean, should we?
Yeah, you might need to get an eye test. Moving along to the next slide.
If our technical guy can get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
get in there.
Staying with the theme of ice and shit, in 2013, Metallica performed in Antarctica to be the first ever band or musical act to perform on all 7 continents. I just thought this was a nice, cool tidbit. Not really much to discuss about it, but I just think that's cool that there's a band that has done a concert on every single continent. Boom dia.
I do have a question. Where did they get these people from?
These people are all they're part of a crew, so it's sound crew people that were staying on Antarctica, as well as just like people that set the whole thing up, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
here's a little fun piggyback fact. So Arctic comes from the Latin Arctos, which means bear. So you call the Arctic. The north is called the Arctic because there are bears there, and the south is called the Antarctic because there aren't bears there. So that's how you know which one is which.
And we all know where Grant wants to go for a little singles holiday.
Hey.
Your next slide.
Do you know why polar bears don't eat penguins?
Because they're not native to where each other lives. The one lives in the Antarctic, the other lives in the Arctic.
There we go.
Bear facts. Boom. Bear facts.
Boom.
Bear facts.
Hashtag bear facts.
Hashtag.
This is the worst bear facts for Grant ever. He was really into this. He's like,
I'm so excited and I'm so disappointed.
Your last slide. I've completely forgotten what the last one is, so you're going to impress me. I'm going to be that's the one. Okay. This I found very interesting. So the movie The Lord of War, they bought more than 3,000 real guns for the filming of it because it's cheaper to buy real guns and resell them after it's done than buying props. They also rented 50 tanks, which were only available for a short period because they had to sell them to Libya later. I found that fascinating that for not the whole like Libya war thing, but the fact that like it's cheaper to actually buy real equipment and sell it off than it is to have props. Another very interesting thing is a lot of Lord of War was shot in South Africa. A lot of the aviation scenes, a lot of it was shot in South Africa. So it's a very cool thing. You guys are all in the movie industry except Doug, or the film and theatre industry. I thought that this would tickle your fancy.
Yeah. I don't know how. Like, because the guns have to be decommissioned, surely. They have to be decommissioned to be on the set, from what I know.
Well,
if you're filming in South Africa,
what you probably find is that they bought actual guns, but none of them had firing pins in them yet. So they'd use all these guns pre-fire pin being built into it, and they'd use the guns on set as they would. But then as soon as you resell it, all that you need to do is just jam in the firing pin again, and then boom, you have an active gun.
You have an active gun again. Yeah.
I would like to say that as a South African, where most of this film was shot, The fact that they resold the guns later, I hope that it wasn't in South Africa. They resold those guns.
I have bad news for you in the next slide because there have been 3,000 guns found in. I'm joking. It's not. It's not. No, but it is. It is a bloody scary fact that you could just pick up 3,000 guns and then just resell 3,000 guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's pretty much what the whole movie was about. I would just like to point that out. The whole movie was about getting guns somewhere and selling them somewhere else.
When last did you watch that film? Because I'll be honest, I was actually quite shocked. I watched it a few weeks ago. I forgot that Jared Leto was even in that movie because your brain stops thinking about I stopped thinking about Jared Leto as an actor when he was in 30 Seconds to Mars. Then when he was in that Dallas Bars Club, I was like, oh shit, this guy's in a band. This singer's a pretty good actor. And then I'm like, but hang on, he was an actor before.
He was also in. I mean, he was in Fight Club.
Yeah.
He's a goddamn chameleon. He's a goddamn chameleon.
That's a question that I quickly have just to post here. Like what I wanted to just who's done successfully gone from music to acting or vice versa that you know of 100%. That you can say is a good actor. Okay, the Hoff is in his own league. The German superstar singer David Hasselhoff is in his own league. Who has? Okay, look, like the one
Jennifer Lopez.
I said successful actress. Successful actress. I don't think
she was good in the style.
Barbara Streisand, didn't she get an
Academy Award? Barbara Streisand, a famous actress and muso. Yeah.
Okay.
She's not Roper's muso. Will Smith. Besides being entangled, God can act and sing. Guy can act and sing. I still sing. Get the jiggy with it.
Oh my God, my friend Tian is gonna kill me. Red-headed singer and Hocus Pocus.
Red-headed singer and Hocus Pocus. Shit clue.
Yeah, shit. Dog shit clue, mate. Dog shit clue.
Nah, man, you're all gonna kick yourselves. You know who it is. Like, if the audience can help me, please, by any chance.
Joseph Malone.
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler. Damn it.
Did Dolly Parton act?
And Neil Patrick Harris and Dolly Parton and Cher.
Okay.
Sorry, I've just clicked into all my gay icons.
Madonna, I mean,
France is back in the club.
But she was huge in that film about Argentina.
Madonna.
Oh yeah, Madonna. You see, sorry. So that's what I was trying to get at. It's like not a once-off and not musical, like not musicals. I'm saying blockbuster hits and also like very high-selling albums. Because Neil Patrick Harris is not really one to use because he's never released an album.
Yeah.
But he's he started film. But anyway,
Midland are good bets.
I'd go with that. But anyway, that wraps up your rapper for Chappie Rapper Tuesday. Boom.
Look at that.
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus is another good one. Hang on. I'd mind that because I mean, like Hannah Montana, that's basically what the whole story is.
John Bon Jovi.
What does he start in though? What is Bon Jovi starred in though?
He starred in a film called U5. I know he's been in other things, but he starred in a film called U571. It was a film about the U-boats, about a U-boat attack. And the most interesting thing about this film is that after production had completed and they'd done all the editing, the production company decided that this film was so bad it was unreleasable, and they were not going to release the film. And then that Russian submarine crashed, and a week later, U571 was in theaters. Like, they did not waste time. Right?
Wow.
I just quickly went through an article for our own pleasure here. Queen Latifah, Mark Wahlberg, Mandy Moore, Beyonce started some stuff, but there's one that Justin Timberlake's a good one.
Yeah, Harry did quite a few movies. Yeah,
Harry Styles has actually done a pretty good pivot, but then I completely forgot about the biggest one. It has to be Ice Cube, baby. 99, baby.
Yeah.
Ice Cube in 21 Jump Street is without a doubt the greatest fucking comedy person I've ever. I mean, he is just world class. But anyway, enough about
21 Jump Street. What a film, man!
Brilliant. Yeah.
Like it makes me wonder though, like when I hear names like Ice Cube, right? And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, we know who he all is.
It's Ice Cube, baby. Say it properly.
Ice Cube, baby.
Yeah, boy. Now I know who you're talking about.
It makes me wonder though, like I've during lockdown, like to make an extra buck, I've been doing a lot of tutoring in that, and like it's school kids that I'm working with, and I'm just like, they don't know people like Ice Cube. Like I have someone who I'm coaching for singing, and I was talking to her. And she's like, yeah, I'm into R&B. So I'm like, oh, okay, you like R&B. So what about Lauryn Hill? And she's like, who? And I'm like,
she doesn't know Lauryn Hill.
Nope.
She doesn't know Lauryn Hill, and she likes R&B. Like, that's like the cornerstone. That is the OG. That is the person to refer to for R&B. She doesn't know. She didn't know who TLC was.
Nah, bruh. Left Eye Lisa Lopez, rest in peace.
Yeah. Hey?
But the thing that I was going, sorry, you make a good point, because I saw it. I don't know whether you saw these tweets. There's been like 2 separate occasions where this has come out. The one was with Kanye West. So Kanye West has a song that features Paul McCartney. I forget the name of the song now. And and all these people like on Twitter were tweeting out like, bruh, you gotta love Kanye West for giving people like this Paul McCartney guy a platform, so he can become a famous superstar. You're like,
that was on 94.7. That was on 94.7.
But there was another one now recently where it's like, it was Post Malone, because he released his new Hollywood's Bleeding album. And one of the songs he features Ozzy Osbourne. Same shit. People tweeting out like, Post Malone is such a fucking charitable artist, giving guys like this Ozzy Osbourne guy a platform to become famous. Motherfucker, do you know who the Prince of Darkness is?
He was the first person to eat a bat and survive.
It's the reason why there's animal rights on film sets now.
Fair enough. Yes. I did say, I mean, just to go back to R&B, I wanted to know what Grant's opinion on Ruth Brown was.
Oh, you go and hit me with a name that I don't know.
I mean, she was.
I knew you were going to do that.
She's a founding member. She formulated R&B back in the 50s. I mean, you got to be fair to these people, all right? I mean, I know that is a bit longer ago, but I mean,
yeah, it's way longer ago.
14 years old. I mean, come on,
But that makes a really good
19.
point. That, like, the way that we say that, like, certain artists of our age pioneered certain genres of music is quite funny how we say that, when actually,
But doesn't shit's cyclical, I guess you can say. That like every 30 years, like a slider goes in, and it's like, y'all never gonna fucking know who Ruth Brown was. And then like the next thing's like, y'all never gonna know who Lauryn Hill was. And then you're gonna have these kids, when Miley Cyrus is all fucking washed up or whatever, and they're talking to some kid called like Bebop the Boobop, the new artist on the street, going, remember Miley Cyrus? And they're going, who the fuck's Miley Cyrus? Who's that?
Yeah, but guys, like, what I love is like how no one tells you that generation gaps sneak up on you. Like, you don't decide when you're an adult. You just have a conversation with some kid who's like 12 or 13 to make you realize, like,
not even 12 or 13, like 19, 20, dude. Even at that point, I mean, like we're all in our 30s now at the moment.
Yeah, like I'm 35, and I've had a chat with a 26-year-old who it's like they're speaking English 1 minute and then they switch over to Greek, because like the jargon that they use or the artists that they refer to, and my brain's just like, wait, what? like I just don't get it.
Who be you? Who be this?
Yeah,
I think my scariest moment was watching one of those. It's those Facebook videos that come up with the kids who basically are looking at certain things and they have to try and say what it is or where it comes from or if they remember what it is. And when they had one where they were doing certain movies and they were talking about Jurassic Park, And these kids had no clue about Jurassic Park whatsoever. And there was not just one group of kids; it was like 10 of these groups of kids. That's when I kind of lost my shit. That's when I was like, I'm dying.
The one that quite amused me is it's an old music video of Snoop Dogg's where he's doing that. You know that dance where you put your arms in front and then you put them behind you. You know that.
Right? I believe That's called the floss dance. Please,
anyway,
you bloody boomer. It's a floss dance.
Whatever it is, right? Okay. There it is. It's early 90s, Snoop Dogg doing this, right? And it's one of those kids react videos on YouTube. And his kids he sees him do that, right? In the 90s. And the kid's response is Fallout or whatever the hell it is.
Fortnite. So wait, hang on. Let's prove our ages here. Doug, you've brought something up. We're all live on camera, so can you actually floss dance? Stand up and bloody have a good go at it, Doug. Everyone has to have one turn. Do it.
I know that I can't floss dance. Hold on.
Here we go.
So glad he's wearing trousers. Yes. Why are you rowing a boat?
You look, mate. Your boat's not going to sink, Doug. You don't have to row your boat out.
I don't know how it goes.
How do you even do this?
That's awesome. You can do it. You can do it.
That way?
That's it.
I'm just tumbling there now. Yeah.
You got a lot of the Wayne's World swing. Grant.
I don't even know where the arms go. Where?
Guys, like Grant, I can't tell you embarrassingly how much I've tried to learn how to floss, and I just can't. Right? I can do it. I can do it slowly. Let me just bring my microphone closer. Like I can floss slowly. Like I know it's that cha. But as soon as I speed up, then I lose all coordination. Like I just can't.
I think you look great.
I've spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to learn how to floss. Like it does not come naturally.
That's the best out of three of the three of us. James apparently been doing a Mr. Bean impression. Come on, Duncan.
Come on,
guys. I don't want to have to tell you that as a Fortnite professional myself, the floss dance comes quite naturally to a guy like me. I'll have you know the reason I can do that is because I've got a couple of victory royales in Fortnite. So, to all the ladies out there, if you're looking for a, guy that can floss dance.
And they say you never learn anything from video games. Look at that.
Look at that.
Sorry, by the way, while we are here, if you do have any openings at your company, I'm very unemployed. So also, I'll send my CV. I can email. I can type. I can floss dance. I can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think you on the bed like that should be your cover page for your CV. Just employ me. We need to get a stuffed tiger. We need to get a stuffed tiger there. Just
I don't have
like Joe. Definitely some pink tights.
Joe Exotica. Yeah.
Yes.
I saw tiger. I saw tiger. I'm gonna add that to my TV. I can sing. I can also sing.
Yeah. Go for it.
Now, for our regular viewers, don't worry, Duncan. There's no shots being fired outside of Duncan's house. He's just lying down because,
I'll be honest. I actually think we're missing a trick here by not lying down and doing the podcast. I feel like we're missing a real big trick. Carry on.
Threaten me. I will do it. A
certain decorum kept, okay? And up to this point, lying down has been only acceptable to protect yourself from gunfire, okay? I'm just putting that out there.
I'm just going to say, look, at the moment, 75% of this podcast is professional. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you can't beat comfort. I believe that's the sales point of Green Cross shoes, and that's why they still exist. They might not look good. They're not Crocs. They might not look good. They're bloody comfortable, mate.
I've just seen in that sentence alone a flash forward of the kind of worm you're going to be in 20 years' time.
What do you mean?
You're gonna walk in there, you're gonna walk into the kitchen, and you're gonna call like the 7-year-olds over, and you're gonna teach them like how to open up a can of Coke properly.
100%.
And it's gonna be like a whole 10-minute speech. Like, just you gotta give it 3 taps, and you gotta put it in the water, and then you just go.
And how to floss dance. No doubt he will teach his little nephews how to floss dance, right?
Oh,
I think
who knows?
I reckon Fortnite's still going to be there in 20 years' time. Trust me.
To actually get to what you were saying about being old, or at least feeling older. Right?
Yes.
There are 2 things. Number one is when I hit 30, I was like, I don't believe I'm 30. I'm still young. And then I spoke to 20-year-old, and I was like, yeah, I'm fucking old. Right.
Yeah.
Because
but
at the moment
Doug, what kind of a conversation was it? What kind of a conversation was it that the one that really that got you to go, you know what? I'm older.
I remember mine. Do you all remember your first ones?
I can't give you an exact. It's just about your place in life. I mean, that's more than anything else. It's about what matters when you're 20 versus what matters when you're 30. When you're 30, it's right job, food, rent, insurance, pension, right? Okay.
Favorite
when you're 20, it's booze, drugs.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll.
This weekend, right?
Yeah.
But more than that, the thing that really got
about
me,
your pension since you were 13.
The thing that made me realize that I had stepped beyond the generation was when I was a kid with the VCR. I was the kid who knew how the remote worked, who knew how to plug a TV in, and knew how to plug, all that stuff. I was the kid who could do that, right? And I was trying to get something sorted out on my niece's iPad, right? And I just couldn't figure it out. And I asked her. She was 6, right? She took this thing and she worked some kind of wizard magic, right? Okay.
Some black magic
fuckery. I had no idea what she did, but I realized it was that moment that I realized that I had gone from being technologically savvy to being a generation behind the technology.
That's a good example. What was yours, Grant? You said you have an exact moment.
So I've got my first one. And then I've got like the one that's like when you're on the floor and they kick you in the nuts. That's one. So the first one, I was asked to help with a musical at a primary school, and I was going there and I was helping kids with like their vocals and stuff. And this one girl, she was going for it, and I was like, it's great what you're doing, but this is like a diva song. Like I need you to step up and be a total diva. Like you have to completely Mariah Carey it. And she was like, what? I'm like, Mariah Carey. And it was also just like crickets chirping. And I was like, do kids not know who Mariah Carey is? And then like when I spoke to my friend afterwards, he's like, no, it's Ariana Grande now. She's the one who does like the whistle tones and all those things. But that was my first like, oh, I'm old. But now the one that really got me.
Better off not knowing Mariah Carey, just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Don't hate on her. She sings 8 octaves.
I mean, I'm a bit terrified that Mariah Carey is still not relevant today. I'm quite sad about that.
Yeah.
Well, what was Pod Due? What was Pod Due, Grant?
So Pod Due is like this one really hurt. Is I enjoy slang. Slang is interesting for me, and getting the new words and the cool words. It's fun being a part of a thing.
That's only because slang is spelt like slung the snake, which is also a slang word for a certain type of snake.
Oh.
And then 1,000 Afrikaans people cried out in anguish. Fuck yo, Douglas.
But I was hanging again. I was in the conversation of children at like a party. It was a family gathering, and one of the kids are like, and then he looked at me, and I just yeeted it out of the window, and I was like, what does yeet mean? What is yeet?
What is yeet?
Yeet is the word for throw. Just throw something. You yeet it.
I'm sorry, but it's not just yeet. All right, yeet is not just a word for throw. It's like kawaii is not just a word for cute. All right, kawaii is like uber Japanese cute. All right, okay. Yeet is like it's to throw with enthusiasm.
Yeah, reckless abandon.
I remember that as being called a Kobe. You're like Kobe Bryant. If you just threw something and you took a shot, Kobe.
Yeah, a Kobe. Yeah.
That is.
No.
If do you remember that?
And also hectic is going to be replaced with oof. Mark my words.
No, oof is old though. I'm sorry. Like oof has been around since like I'd finished varsity days. Like going oof. Like oof has been big for years. Like this is maybe a new thing in South Africa. But like,
I don't know. We'll see.
Oof. No, I'm telling you now.
Again.
But sorry, the one thing that I always wanted to know is you got to know the difference between a yeet and a yoink. You see, that's the real one. That's where you're getting into it.
A yoink?
And a yoink.
Oh, God.
It's a difference because a yeet is a yeet, yoink. You got to know the action, like to yoink something. Yes, no, it was yoinked away from me. It was yeeted away from me. It's like thrown away. Yoink. You got to be with these. You got to know the lifeties. Yeah, these kids are texting.
Yeah, you know. I mean, you're playing Fortnite and Fallout and all those things.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
you're
maybe
still in connection with the youth.
Maybe actually we should learn some more Fortnite and start teaching ourselves how to floss and yeet and yacht.
I tried to play Fortnite, guys. Like I downloaded it on my PS4 and I opened it up. There's no tutorial. You just have to know how to use the controls. And I was like, I moved like 2 steps and someone shot me. Then I respawned and I tried to shoot back and I started building something. And I was like, these controls are not, they're not, what's the word?
Easy to use.
No. There's a word for it though. There's a word for intuitive. The controls aren't intuitive.
I sort of quickly, just so we have some facts.
Jump anymore. You know,
I'm all about sharing glory. So just to show you how down I am with the kids, just so you all know. Look at this. This is it. So you can see right there, 130 victories in Fork Knife. That's me. That's this guy. I'm an absolute legend of the sport of Fork Knife. That's me.
Wayne's warning us don't play Fortnite. It's full of triggers.
So that you know that you are really in tune with the kids. The word yoink originates with the Archie comics, you know, from way back when.
No, but you see, the problem is like you see there, it's an onomatopoeic sound. It's yoink. Whereas like now it's a verb. Is it still from there?
In Archie comics, it means to take. That's where it comes from.
Okay, so you see,
they've just re-established it, reused it. You know, like fashion, it goes out of fashion, comes back into fashion. I'm really looking forward to when proper English comes back into fashion. That'll be great for me. I'll understand everything.
On that note, everybody, we're close to the end of our show. And speaking of yoinking, I would ask you all to please consider giving money to the stage crew of South Africa who have had their salaries and their livelihoods yoinked away from them. I was getting there.
Yeet your money to these people so they can yoink it from you. Yeet your money to the people.
No, but yeet your money for the people who have had jobs yoinked from them. That's where I was going.
There we go. Yes, now all the kids are going to be donating. All the kids are going to be donating their Fortnite bucks, their Fortnite credits.
So, no, I know if you meet these people and they tell you their stories, you're going to be like, oof, that was bad. So yeet your money to these people. It's People for Purpose. They are gathering money for stage crew that help run theaters and productions, the back end. They don't qualify for UIF because they are contract workers. So you can contact them at help@feedourcrew.co.za. And that's us for tonight, everybody. Thank you for a lively chat. Duncan, thank you for attacking me on my segues. And everybody, tune in tomorrow for episode 67. Stay sane, stay safe, stay sexy. Bye!